Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks for May 26th. I am Cursed.
And I'm Hithroc.
And once again, we're talking here to talk about tournament results. I honestly feel like the last month and a half we've just been doing tournament results here on the channel.
Well, we've had a month and a half of conventions.
Very true that. Winnie City and BabsCon, and now Everfree was just a week ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sure feels like more than a week ago to me, but yeah. Just last weekend, we were both, we were both in the same place, but we were talking on Commentating Magic's channel about these games happening live.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite match from the convention?
I don't think so. I don't think there's I have one that standed out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, neither do I really. Let's see. I try to think here. Oh yeah, they were all pretty good.
I think the match where Bugle had turn one on living ground, that was pretty great.
Oh right. There was that. Yeah. Okay. Now it's all coming back to me. Bugle points out Pages' quintuple confront against him. That was pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then of course there's the match where Bugle DQ'd himself with the game lost himself with the barrels. That's, I mean, how can you say no to that? And then yeah, that uneven. Well, that was the same game, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. Now that you say it, that semifinal match had kind of a lot of everything in it. By the way, welcome, Bugle. Good to see you. So anyway, we have Everfree was a good-sized convention. Lots of tournament results. Honestly, I'd kind of like to, if there wasn't so much other stuff to talk about, I would probably have split up our streams just like we did with BabsCon. But there's also other stuff that we need to get to later in the month. So we're just going to be doing something of an abridged version of the results this time, covering the top 5 lists from Harmony and the top 8 from Core.
Yep.
There's still some pretty awesome stuff to get to with that. So, shall we get to it?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, first list, one that we saw on stream during Swiss, I believe, comes to us via Scott P, is Apple Vendor Blue Aggro list. Which I remember we both saw this and immediately thought it was going to be some kind of combo, just because that's what this main does, generally speaking.
Yeah. But Scott used this ability to gain some steam.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. That's the same thing. We both got to the mid-game and were like, okay, he's doing pretty well, but he doesn't have any cards left in his hand. That might be a problem. And then he just starts retiring stuff to get more cards in his hand. It worked pretty well.
Yeah, and it worked well enough to put him into top 5, which is, I think, pretty good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I like this deck, especially for a mono-orange. Well, it's not like mono-orange. There's Tyrix, Reign of Terror, and Snail Dash, but it's mostly orange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One, like, you might look at this and say, it's a little bit strange to be supporting Tyrix, Reign of Terror with just Snow Dash, but it's true that she's essentially a 1-for-3 in this deck. Your hand is all, like, this deck is going to empty its hand out so fast, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's always going to have that +2 power.
Yeah, but look at all those cheap friends and Apple Bloom, which destroys your hand even more, but makes things even more cheap. So yeah, this deck will pretty much always have less than 3 cards. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, because you can always retire stuff to get more.
Indeed. Yeah. those cheap friends for the same reason. They're just discard fuel, or sorry, retirement fuel for Apple Blue's ability. And also kind of builds in the kind of the Muffin Mare style of moving power around. That's generally how you're going to flip Applejack over in the first place, getting something up to 5 power. And it's also super efficient when it comes to confronting problems and winning the game.
Yep. And Witty Stand lets you do some Muffin Mare shenanigans, which is very good, especially with Igneous and Quartz. So overall, I really like this deck. I didn't expect to see something like this in Harmony, and this was a nice.
Yeah, it seems like whenever an orange aggro or mid-range deck shows up, it's always a little bit unexpected, no matter whether it's at Everfree or Continentals or whatever. But the color combination has always been there, and it's always been not bad. People just seem to not give it much respect.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Next list?
Sure. So next list was Max, that's right. Our Nurturing Nature Blue.
Looks like a blue deck to me. Looks like a core deck with Identity Theft and 2 bits.
That is pretty true. Neither one of them bad additions, obviously. Identity Theft for, well, there's lots of targets that would be nice. Mullet and Dash, Daybreaker, Nightlighter, even Chillax would be a fine target.
Racers is great, I think.
Yeah, that too.
Or Daybreaker. I think you can copy pretty much anything here except Entry, and you'll be fine. And Lemon Hearts.
Yeah, even Loyal Pony and Kind Pony, they're not super great, but they're still useful abilities anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really only Lemon Hearts. Well, okay, Tank is, again, not great-ish, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think when you play Identity Theft, you probably have something else other than Tank on the board. So it's...
Or your opponent has something better.
Yeah. Copy old money to banish old money.
Pretty good. I mean, that it's funny. At that point, Chrysalis is exactly Evil Twin, except she costs 3.
Yeah. And doesn't gain colors, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, looks like a regular blue-yellow Pegasus deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's missing appropriate business attire, which is a fine card in these kinds of decks. It makes him a little bit more vulnerable to things like school shutdown and mass removal, etc.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But that's a personal decision. You didn't think that kind of stuff was going to show up. Maybe don't put that in.
Or maybe he was just going for speed.
Yeah, that too.
Just win before they can play school shutdown.
The problem deck, notably, is real easy to get through. The only problem that would be a little bit difficult to confront would be Save the Day, but of course, 2 points per confront is totally worth it.
Save the Day is much easier with Nurturing Nature because all you need is a free blue, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the others are all basically just Nurturing Nature under most circumstances. Well, yeah, especially if you have a stick out.
Yep. Even without stick, you still have field erasers and chillax, which are great. And I really like field erasers of Nurturing Nature because of that, because you're fine with them sitting at home. They're your ET gens, but they also buff up your Nurturing Nature, which is
good point. Yeah.
very great. Okay, next list.
Sure. So, next list will be Cheese and Grandpa's.
I've seen this deck before.
Probably.
I think Grandpa's played the same list at Mapscom.
That sounds right, yeah. Give me 1 second. There it is. Okay. Yeah, this is actually almost certainly the exact same list from Babscon. Where it... Now a second. Did he win Babscon with this list? Or... No, he didn't, right?
Poppy won the Babscon.
That's right.
So, no.
Poppy won, yeah. But he finished relatively highly. Second place, I think?
Yeah, he was top 2, yeah. The final was Grandpa's versus Poppy, I think.
Right. And here, they both, well, second and third. So, consistent.
Yeah.
I guess.
Consistently second. Oh, I phone call. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Hithroc's been called away for a brief little moment. He's promised me he'll be back soon, so I'll just take it in the meantime. We talked about Grandpa's list during the Babscon stream. Basically, we're abusing old money the way Purple White Control has always done, with Minuet and Trenderhoof being your sort of recursion engine. Get back all your beautiful events. Well, actually, Trenderhoof can get back anything you want, so good for him. But generally, it's going to be your controlled events, your AT gens, your Twilight and Rarities, your Troublemakers, maybe, if you want to. It's kind of funny. We spent so much time after Core started talking about what was going to be, who was going to first successfully recreate F-Stop. And this is pretty close. This is probably the closest that we've ever actually come in a competitive format. And yeah, not much to say, really, given we talked about it last time. Alrighty, well, I'm
terribly sorry for this, but now I'm back.
Okay, no worries. So I kind of said my thing about this deck already. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I don't know what to add since I don't know what you said, but I really like how cruel this deck is. And I think I've talked about it like at the last stream we had about Babscon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I basically said that this is, we had so much discussions when Core first started out about what was going to be the F-Stop replacement, and this is what we have basically. I think this reminds me a lot of those decks from the past.
Yeah, that's a fair statement to make. It's like kind of close-ish to toolbox control-ish thing, but old money really contributes a lot to versatility. Like before, you had to like have something for resources, have something for friends, but now you just have one card and all the ways to flip.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Old money set MVP, probably.
Yeah. So I guess there's also other cards like Mistmane.
Yeah, it's true. That might be worth. Yeah, I might note that down as something to investigate when the set finishes up.
Yeah,
because you're right. Mistmane is like she's appeared in so many other kind of archetypes and decks as well, including just the Mistmain combos and stuff.
Yeah. Like people use her for recursion, people use her as a point acceleration, people use her for combo through like brute force of AT.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're playing white, you're just going to play Mistmain no matter what.
Probably. I mean, maybe if you
Even in aggro, I'd probably play Mist.
yeah, your aggro would have to be really fast to like for Mistmain to be too inefficient for you.
Yeah. But that's probably a topic for another time.
Perhaps, yeah. Okay. Top deck?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a cool one.
Oops, all bombs.
Absolutely.
Did we see it on stream? I don't think we did. I don't remember seeing that main.
No, we did not, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, the name of the deck, Oops All Bombs, comes through pretty clearly, given that we're got a lot of big stuff in here.
Pretty much all of the things are big stuff. Like I see only 3 friends that are below 4
For cost, yeah. Those being Apple Bloom, your Sweetie Belle, your Sandbar, and Smolder. And yeah, the strategy of the deck is pretty straightforward. You just discard stuff early, which obviously you want to do because it flips your main over, and Orange Luna then cuts them down to half a hand. It's virtually impossible for you to have an opening hand that doesn't have a big giant thing in it, so discard that, great. And then when you hit some kind of reanimation, of which we've got Orchard Blossom, Discord Pile, and Redeeming Qualities to work with, then suddenly you've got something great on the field.
I really like Smolder and Sandbar here as a discard outlet because they're basically 4 power for 2 AT that you have to upkeep, but that's fine.
Yep. We've got...
And
Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, I was just going to mention how there's a lot of utility in the problem deck as well. You might think that this deck wants to start trade intrusions all the time, but I mean, Pages isn't here to mention it. I think it was like his deck. But anyway, infiltrating is not a bad option too, because, yeah, well, you want to keep discarding all the time, generally. It gives you a guaranteed way to discard at the start of the game. And lacking lesson plans is probably just there as utility in case it comes up against a control deck. Like, you're not going to start with it, but you'll appreciate it being in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, real shame that we didn't get to see this on Steam, because I imagine it had some pretty fun games. Looks like
it'd be very interesting to see what it does.
Excuse me. Yeah, looks like a real fun deck to play. And even the little Tempest Shadow, easiest pie in there. Presuming that's going to be flipping Luna. And then you've still got plenty of discard outlets, so yeah, just cut their hand in half again. Why not?
Yeah, hand attack on Luna is pretty strong. Which is, I think, like the main reason to run her over like Paradox Pony, because I think Paradox Pony would work in this deck too. Well, except like you can't do things with Smolder and Sunburn like turn 1, so you'd have to do something like tweak deck a little bit to fit that main, but
yeah,
the whole idea would be pretty much the same, I think.
Functionally, yeah. and you'd get to abuse the enter's play abilities, well, a little bit
Yeah.
more. All right. Well, actually, wait a second. Oh, okay. I just noticed Moon Dancer there, and that's if you can manage to start with her, it's quite nice as well because you probably get double usage out of whatever reanimation you use to get her out.
Yeah. I think you use that on cleaning up or something like that.
I don't know. I was thinking more of just like, yeah, you're redeeming qualities her, and then just immediately redeeming quality something else since you got the AT for it.
That's a lot of. That's like 680
Yeah,
though.
I know it's a lot of AT. Oh well. This deck actually doesn't have any AT. Well, it's got Apple Bloom, I guess.
But if she stays up, she can do some neat tricks like playing cleaning up twice to get redeeming qualities, to play redeeming qualities, to
Yeah,
then exhaust her to use redeeming qualities again. Like you can do a lot of things with Mulan.
indeed. And actually, the combo of like, it's kind of missed in here. We're looking at all these gigantic things, but having Zomponies in here along with Luna and Torch, that's actually a fine combo as well.
Mm-hmm. So only 2 cards that remove resources.
Mysterious Disappearance and Old Money. I guess so.
To be fair, not many decks we've seen so far played a lot of resource. So
Yeah. It might be similar to something I said once when building a deck for Nightmare. If you can get rid of the resources before they play them, then you don't need
yeah,
resource removal.
or you could just banish resources you don't like with Luna.
Yeah, that too. Okay.
Which might be why
Oh,
this
sorry.
deck. Yeah, one last thought. Which might be why this deck does well against Poppy, because the main thing about Poppy was that the Poppy deck can draw a lot of cards, so it can maintain hand advantage through like Nightmare Moon. But this Luna can cut that off
Mm-hmm.
if she really wants to.
Yeah, and this deck also is going to do just fine against all the Nightmare Moons around in Harmony because, well, yeah, put more stuff in my discard pile. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to go there before it gets played anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, Bugle does point out that if your opponent has old money, then Evil Twin becomes a resource removal.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that's very specific, but it's not that unlikely for an opponent to have old money.
It's very true, yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, on to Core. The main event. Tournament.
Yep.
And we start with a somewhat similar, well, at least I see a Fluttershy. This is Ivory's deck, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Oh, it's just mono yellow. Okay.
It's not on the yellow. I'm joking.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a debate that is had on the other stream, not this one. But yeah, relatively straightforward. This is the kind of deck that I think we saw a lot of at the early stages of Core, and then just kind of faded out a little bit afterwards.
Yeah. I think last time we saw it like in Store Champs or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But here it is, back again.
Mm-hmm. it's a little strange because I remember at that time everyone was talking about how Fiona was a super boss card and Meadowbrook was great and etc. And people just kind of forgot about it, I guess. And to be fair,
Well,
go ahead.
the thing is, she is a super boss card, but there's one problem with her. She doesn't get rid of all money.
That is true. That is true.
And even if she did, do you really want to bounce all money?
Well, no. No, of course not.
And that's the thing, like a lot of control decks run things that you probably don't want to usually bounce. So she hits the Starlight Glimmer, which is, I think, one of the main things you're going to bounce. The AT gem.
Yeah, that one. Let's take a quick look at some of the other stuff, at some of the other decks, and yeah,
There are Daybreakers, which are good to bounce.
Yeah, honestly.
I think that's like all that comes to my hand right now. I'm not looking at the cards.
Yeah, I taking a look through some of the other stuff, it's true. Given how prevalent enters play effects have become in this game, yeah, they're just you're not going to see like against orange decks in general. Those friends tend to just be big, and that's about it. So it's usually efficient to bounce them. But like, yeah, purple, blue, white. There's always going to be just a ton of enters play effects, generally speaking, that you don't want to be able to repeat.
And I made a quick glance through the decks now, and not a lot of them have even friends above 3 power, above 2 power. Like Starlit Glimmer is the only one in many decks.
Yeah.
So as strong as Yona is, she doesn't hit all the necessary stuff.
Right. Yeah. She's just not as good in this meta.
Yeah.
Which metas change. Hard to keep in mind for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next list.
Sure. So our next up was Richard. That's right. This would be the deck from. Well, you saw this one on screen for Babscon, only it was Sonic playing it.
Yeah. Is it the same list?
Largely the same. I'm sure. I'm not. I could perhaps go check to see if it was the exact same. It's basically the same idea, though. And I see the party hards and the dips and the dip in the pool. So that's specific tech that carried over at least. Ah, I see. Okay, makes sense. So technically, it's Grandpa's list. In actuality,
Yeah.
And they were both just fair enough.
And it does look very similar to what Grandpa's ran at Continental. I think he ran decent Continentals, right? Like the orange, white.
That was now we're getting a while ago, but that is ringing some bell in my head somewhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, that
Yeah. So the main thing of this deck is to control through Party Hard and backup dancers with break.
and Fume as well.
And yeah, and Fume. And I believe that's what you use Deepen the Pool on. It's like instead of portaling Fume, you just copy Fume.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. Notably, yeah, there are no other dragons in the deck, so Fume is used basically purely in combination with backup dancers. Well, that works just fine.
Yeah, I mean, backup dancers exhaust the entire board most of the time.
And as I believe I mentioned the last time we talked about this deck, you don't have to play them both on the same turn. You can play Fume earlier and then play the backup dancers later, and it still works just fine.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we've got all the regular stuff like sonatas, belly flops, sopranos, and berry punch. Berry punch is a great card to help you confront problems.
Yeah. Deck like this, you're gonna have no problem keeping your hand full. What with? Hang on a second here. Isn't there some kind of? Well, I guess Party Hard is the big one. Any other mass draws in here?
There's some problems that draw you cards,
Okay.
but other than that, it's mostly only berry punch. But berry punch is good enough.
Yeah, that kind of takes us back to Harmony, and you show that.
Oh yeah, there's also Toe Tapper, as Beagle points out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
There's also a Ponytone.
For the times when, when you've got a barrel and you've already got both your Sopranos, or you just need some draw, or maybe you don't have any white. Well, okay, hang on a second. If you've got a barrel, you've got white, so.
Yeah.
Anyway. Your Stygian is pretty much just going to be, you can Stygian Desert Road. That's not particularly useful, but if your opponent's got some kind of resource removal, maybe you like having a copy of it.
Yeah, but I think you mostly copy the opponent's stuff.
Yeah. There's always a lot of good opponent stuff to copy, sure. I believe, it was my game against Sonnet at Babs, where she copied my my Spooky Ruins with it, which was pretty good.
Yeah, Spooky Ruins is a nice target. And the obvious thing is to copy the stick. You can also copy Fire of Friendship in some cases when you really need that orange.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
All right.
All right.
Next deck.
Let's see. Next deck is Richard. Richard. We
No,
just played.
Richard was just now.
We
Yeah,
just played.
it's Smithers.
Smither, that's right. Sorry, Richard. I know you're in the chat. Smithers with Luna Orange. Did we see this one on stream?
Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah.
I don't remember if we saw it on the cut or Swiss, but we definitely saw it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. This one also splashes white, depending on what you think of certain cards.
So yeah, Bluna and hasty stuff with some orange, which makes sense given that you play some pirates, quite a bit of pirates, and First Mate Malut is a great card. As well as Vulnerable Stadium, also a great card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, orange is not a super common color to pair with blue. Obviously people see Luna pink all the darn time, and even Luna white every so often, orange. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, I've seen blue orange a couple of times, but not with Bluna.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the thing is that orange doesn't really have like any hasty stuff. That's why it's not like as straightforward to build blue and orange as it would be like building a pink.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Yeah.
But I guess the basic idea, and comes through pretty well, is that blue has enough hasty stuff on its own, really. Once you count Night Glider and Rutherford and Thunderlane and mullet dash, etc. And then orange, as you pointed out, gives you all the AT acceleration from Wonderbolt Stadium, and First Mate Mullet's an excellent card for moving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we play enough pirates to give them some value sometimes on the other side too.
Another big thing is that orange gives you a good resource removal, which you don't really have in blue pink.
That being Big Mac, of course. Bailout kind of fills in the role that you would get from Belly Flop in blue pink for the most part. The Scootaloo actually is an interesting pick here. The Scootaloo.
It's a Balloon friend.
Yeah, it works just fine. As pointed out when the card was first revealed, it is essentially Bluna, but a friend. Which, sure, right? Why not have another?
Yeah, especially since most of the hasty stuff is Pegasi, except that one Rutherford. Well, 3 Rutherfords, rather.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention the mullet and pirate dash combo is also quite nice. Being immediate pay one, frighten a character once, so long as she's on the field.
Yeah. There's a lot of neat tricks you can do with First Mate Mullet. Like, I think, like, when you build not in pink but in orange, you lose the AT efficiency from, like, Angel Wings and things like that, but you gain into, like, more immediate movement with First Mate Mullet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is pretty good.
Okay. You have anything you want to add?
Okay. No, I don't think so.
Okay. So then rounding out the bottom of the top 4, or the bottom of the top 8 rather, was Cheese. With the, well, again, I'm not sure if this is exactly the same build he used at Babs and at Store Champs, or if there have been slight modifications, but Tempest White Pink.
Yeah, fairly sure it's the exact same list. Or maybe with like a couple of changes, because he did build the deck right before the stream.
Yeah. Would not be surprising at all if there were some little things necessary. And as Bugle tells us, yes, there were little changes. Right after.
So he had 3 Sonatas, and he replaced Sonata for something. I think it was School Shutdown. Yes, it's School Shutdown.
That's right. I remember he was modifying the deck on stream before. Well, not on stream, but like on the floor feed before we started the stream up.
Yeah, I believe he was really considering playing 46 cards.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he was being like at 47 or something, and he wanted to cut 1 card.
Yeah, well, like he had done that, and then he cut 1, and then he recounted, and he was actually at 45. And then, well, apparently decided to stay that way, given that this deck is 45.
Mm-hmm.
Little behind-the-scenes look at on screens for all you folks out there. Sometimes we help people with decks as well.
Yeah, that happens to be a thing. Yeah, but other than that, we've really talked about this deck before. It's essentially what it was supposed to be, a BRB-like deck, but for friends forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it does that. And again, here's the infamous old money who replaced Skystar and Tempest and Grubber and other things.
Yep. And Here's infamous Mistmang as well for doing just catch all good, does whatever you need it to do basically. Goes to your point, gets you something back. So often building is the right thing to do as well. That's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
Okay, next.
That silence is usually the signal that we move on.
Oh, Thorax Orange. You'll like this one.
That's right. I did say that I wanted to see Thorax Orange, and I was very happy to see Skitter playing it.
It's not a 53 card deck, though.
It's a 47 card deck.
Oh, that's 6 off.
6 off, that's right. And I remember the name of the deck frustrated me because it didn't fit in my spreadsheet. But I believe if you find Skitter annoying, that means you're like doing well in this game. That's like how it works, right?
Maybe.
Alright, whatever.
I believe the deck name refers to the
I
tokens he plays.
Yes, yeah, I'm exactly sure about that. Yeah, the pile of critter tokens, and then it's a joke on StarCraft. Anyone is unfamiliar. Anyway, but yeah, this is Thorax Orange. It's kind of like the orange yellow that we talked about for Beyond Block that time that we were on Commentary's Magic stream, except that Thorax is just a lot better as a main for that deck because he's going to be 9-10 power almost all the time, and then you just play a Defend the Hive and confront everything. Problem solved.
Yeah, I think like now with the Defenders block announced, this deck can, I think, be changed quite easily to that.
You're missing Lemon Hearts, Peewee, Zipperwill, Bunyip.
Not Bunyip.
Oh, that's right, Defenders. Thank you. Oh, that helps.
Beavers, Rise and Shine, and Dilemma.
Yeah,
but I think like all of those, you can substitute them for something.
Pretty much, yeah. Zipperwill is basically just a backup in case you don't have Applejack and Fluttershy anyway. Take out Lemon Hearts, maybe becomes the Valley Trend.
Yeah. Or Meadowbrook.
Oh yeah.
Sure, Meadowbrook is not 2 or less power, but I think Meadowbrook is still good enough.
Probably, yeah. Let me see here. Peewee, I don't know if you could find something that actually does quite the same role, but something. And then there are probably suitable events to fill in for Beavers and Rise and Shine. Actually, you're missing all the resource removal gets cut going to Defender's Block. Except for Brian, of course.
Well, Friends Always There is still Defenders, so...
Oh, that's right. Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
You're not the only one who thinks Friends Always There, not Defenders. Like, Angie confuses that all the time. I always have to correct him.
Anyway. So this is probably, you're right, probably going to be a pretty strong contender once that actually happens. And I think, in Industrial Revolution becomes corralling critters, and you're just basically the same thing, right?
Well, I think Industrial Revolution is a little bit better, but it's a nice substitute.
Yeah.
So what's interesting to me is all the problems are kind of low to confront, and I can see that because you're going to have a lot of low power friends. But at the same time, you have this massive Thorax going around all the time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not necessarily massive. You do I mean, I'm sure Skitter was well aware that school shutdown exists, and this deck doesn't like it when that happens. So perhaps that was the play.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and if you're playing against control, they probably have like a 10 problem or something, so you can direct the power.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Pointers from the chat. Does point out where we are missing Troublemaker cheats as a except for Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, Meadowbrook. Well, there's Friends Always There, but doesn't work on epics.
Mm-hmm. And Spooky Ruins helps for challenging Troublemakers, but yeah, it's still not a cracking the case or a Meadowbrook or a Turning Point. That's the card, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, even though like Meadowbrook doesn't really fit into the theme of having all the friends below 2 or less power, I think it's still good enough card to include.
Yeah, it's just like playing with Capper. She's not even powered, but
yeah,
it's okay to have a few of those if they're good enough.
Yeah. Also, can't not mention the Torx and Defend the Hive, which came up on stream.
Yep. That
pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Everyone forgets about that second ability, given that the deck has no other changelings in it, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, but you always have the changeling that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I would imagine that, most opponents saw him playing that card probably to challenge a Troublemaker. It's like, oh, hey, one of your characters, and then looked over the board, okay, I don't see any changelings, okay. And then, oh, wait, Thorax was changeling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's on his boosted side, he doesn't look like a changeling, it's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Next list.
Next list. Next list is... Oh, yeah, Gary's list. That's right. The Alicorn thing. Sorry, just getting it switched over here. Yeah, that's right.
Flash Sentry turn 2 did not happen.
That's right. This was so sad watching
Yes, it was.
the uneven ground lock this deck out of so much stuff.
It was very sad.
But to be fair to him, he fought back. Kept it close. Well,
yeah, the game was really close, but the 5 confront...
Yeah, I was going to say, he kept it close, except he needed to score 8 points to win at the end. Which, he scored 7. So, can't fault him for that. Oh, sorry, Sanctuary Construction was the card that I was thinking about. Anyway, never mind.
Oh, not the...
Not Corralling Critters, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah, we've got how many Alicorns to work with here? 1, 2, 3, 4...
All of them except Meadowbrook and Mistmane.
And Flash Sentry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And yeah, they're all great plays. Well, on Equestrian Generals, perhaps a little bit less good to get the discount on. But the others are all outstanding plays to play for less than... play with Flash with discount.
Mm-hmm. A lot of cards here are just straight zeros.
Mm-hmm. Even Wax and Wane is essentially a 0, as long as you have the one to play for it.
Yeah. I really like Petting Zoo and Endless Friendship together. Because free power creatures. Yes. I love free power creatures.
They're pretty good. It's true. Especially when you can have a lot of them. It's almost like if I was expecting a Troublemaker heavy meta, I might want to consider Raptor Razor as well.
Oh yeah,
That was,
maybe instead of like Equestrian General.
Mhm.
Yeah, alicorn things do alicorns when they don't encounter an living ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they still do. They still do things. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was very impressive that he almost came back that game, and until the very end, we weren't actually sure who was going to win.
It's true. Yeah. It was a fun time. I'm trying to think, like, suppose you were trying to play against, or knew your opponent was going to be running that kind of AT destruction. What do you potentially put in here to give you something to do about uneven ground? Because he's got basically nap cakes. That's essentially it, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I think like the main problem is that if you know that your opponent is going to play turn one on living ground, you probably just don't bank. That was like the main thing. Losing to ET this early in the game is big.
Good point. Yeah.
Like you would flip your main to not lose to ET or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah. That at that point in the game, it's essentially erasing your first turn.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big deal. It's like Bugle kind of actually managed to flip his Doctor Who's. He didn't get an extra turn himself. He just took away one of the opponent's turns. And that functionally did the same thing.
That's a very good point. See, Beagle, you don't need to run Doctor Who's to be Doctor Who's.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Next list?
Next list should be Grand Pause, right? Yes.
Yep. As I said before, appreciate these colors.
Yep. Is this one also unchanged from Babscon?
I think so. I don't think anything like standing out.
Yeah, I don't see
from the last time.
Any major differences. And sorry, excuse me. For what it's worth, that con was only a month ago, less than a month ago. There was not much time between them for like major rebuilds or anything.
Yeah, they were exactly the same list.
Okay. So yeah, it's still leaning control, but also as Grandpa's kind of points out in the chat, there's a lot of ability to be somewhat aggressive as well, or like not aggressive per se, but be efficient, score points. Daybreaker, can basically farm on her own, to some degree.
Oh yeah, she can totally farm on her own. I think, like, especially like if you look at the average flip of this deck, it's 4, so almost 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure Daybreaker can defeat stuff here relatively consistently.
Yeah.
And in worst case, you can portal something to help her if you really want to.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, as we all know, defeating your own Pony of Shadows is just such a great acceleration play. You've got nothing in this deck that you would not appreciate seeing come into play. Zeroed Out and Exposed will both replace the Troublemaker you just defeated. Well, Zeroed Out, presuming you've still got something in your deck. Everything else is either gaining you AT or else banishing something the opponent has. Yeah.
Yeah, like getting anything here is pretty good. Except Mist Main, I guess, because she doesn't do anything.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
but that's the only thing. And it's fine. I like this deck. Not biased at all.
Absolutely. Nice. It's actually really good. I didn't mention this last time we saw it, but it's really good to see during Do Poster seeing play, because that is a card that was completely skipped over for, well, how long Equestrian Odyssey has been in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And now suddenly it's real good. Just because blue and purple actually can do control now.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Next list.
Last list.
I think it's called Pyguard 3.13. 14.
3.14, that's correct. So we never, we never got to see the party favor thing happen on stream. Such a shame. But for anybody who missed Everfree, that's like the major new addition to the deck is the party favor technology. Just as a way to replace problems. Oh, did we?
Not on turn 1 at least.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Pretty sure we didn't see it on turn 1.
Right, but it did. Okay, hang on a second.
Well, turn 2, you can't really do it in turn 1.
Yeah. Trying to remember if I. Right. Well, it's slipping my mind. Perhaps I shall have to go back and watch the archive. But it happened. Fair enough. Yeah, Pyguard is still what it was. Basically combining white, blue, and pink for pretty much all they've got. You've got plenty of things to do with opponent's stuff. Oops, did I not? Ah, there you go. Press the button in OBS. Okay. Apologies for that. Here's Pyguard. Thank you for pointing that out, people. But yeah, plenty of stuff to do with your opponent's stuff, and you steal it with Sonata. Stuff bouncing out of the discard pile with your tender taps. Yeah, I mean, there's almost so many things to talk about in this deck that you can't quite just rattle them all off. Every card is here for a reason.
Yeah, and that was the case with the original list too.
Mm-hmm. The Friendship U is another one that's, well, I can't remember if that was. It's definitely added for Friends Forever, given that as such.
Yeah, but we saw it on stream. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's mostly the case for the tricolor songs that if you can actually build a deck that can consistently play them, they're usually pretty good.
Yeah. And the Friendship U feels the cracking the case here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw it only used to move characters, I believe, which is moving 3 characters for only 2 ETs. Pretty good.
Yep.
But it also, like, you don't have to run crack anymore because you have Friendship U.
Yep. And as we've saw with yellow and pink in core, forcing the opponent to retire a random friend is generally good because there are so many lists with few friends in the game right now. Like that mode is
and this deck has some spare friends.
Yeah. That mode is obviously terrible against something like Skitter's deck, but it'd be pretty good against the Tempest stuff out there.
Yeah. I still think you mostly use it to move though, because like all things considered, moving 3 characters for 2 ET is the most powerful thing.
Yeah. That is, yeah. It's 2 free moves, essentially. That's even better. Well, okay. I'd have to do the math. I was going to say that's even better than Mullet, but the fact that Mullet's hasty kind of makes it a little bit more. Yeah. And as we saw, sometimes you Angel Wings into uneven ground in your opponent's set.
Yeah, that's so mean. That's my favorite part about Defender's Block, no uneven grounds. Or PV, for that matter.
That is, I'm probably going to appreciate that too.
I will miss Snapcakes, though. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say here. I only have like a general comment about all of the decks. It's interesting to see that pretty much all of the decks some like form of mid range. We don't really have like a hyper aggro decks.
Mhm.
Neither we have like a heavy control decks. All of the decks kind of trying to do both things at the same time.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point, actually. There were a few like lightning aggro decks down in the undercard, as it were, the ones who didn't make the top cut. In fact, there's actually quite a few of them down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, up in the playoffs, right? Basically, everybody's going a little slow or going a little fast, but even the control decks have some other way to score points, and even the aggro decks have plenty of interference in them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, let me take a look at this.
Yeah, Thorax,
yeah. Skitter's deck is pretty aggro.
And there's Ivory's deck, but everything else is pretty much mid-range control.
Yeah.
Mid-range aggro control.
Yeah. It's fair to ask what exactly is causing that. And the fact that we don't have farm anymore is something, at least. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point. Cheese was a heavy control. Yeah, I guess my statement isn't true, but still, that's the impression I was kind of getting.
Well, there's definitely a lot more mid-range than there has been historically.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't know. We'll have to see how things develop moving into the summer.
Yeah.
And the great thing is that we know it's not going to be just, most years it would be, okay, well, let's wait till BronyCon, which is in, it is, what? Now it's about the end of May, so like 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
But this year we've got Store Championships like next month, or June or July or whatever. So we'll have an update even before then, which is great.
Yeah, we'll see some stuff there.
But I think that probably wraps us up for this week, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Next week, well, 2 weeks from now, tournament results weren't the only big piece of news that hit the community a little while ago. So 2 weeks from now, we're probably going to have to say something about the new floor rules announcement. Because, well, floor rules and other official documents. Carter.
A lot of things got updated.
Yeah, the erratas, the everything that happened in that post, and also the big block change, which as we talked about a little bit this stream, we're definitely going to have to devote some time to that because things changed quite a lot with regard to that.
Mm-hmm.
But in any event, that is going to wrap up our stream for today. If you know anybody who missed us or doesn't like to get up this early or is otherwise indisposed at the moment but wanted to catch a stream, you can always check us out on YouTube. The streams get archived there after a couple of hours, generally speaking. This one will be going up as well. But in the meantime, until next time, I've been Cursed, of course.
I've been Hithroc.
And we'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye.